You know, due to colonization and due to continuing European influence, not just as economic systems, but also in terms of guiding the interpretations of text. You've done so much work in Indology, for example. Can you please tell me what role Europe continues to play in either hampering the self-determination of Islam today and Hinduism today?
So it's not Europe, but I would say the West, because the United States, the empire moved across the Atlantic after World War II. So I think the West in general, led a lot by the United States, has continued to play a very important role in the way India studies itself through an army of sepoys. These are Indians who are beholden to them. They get their visas, they go there, they get their degrees, grants. Even the ones who've never been there, they're certified by those who have been there. So there's a whole system of foundations, grant-giving organizations, journals in the West that are about us, conferences and so on. And this is the infrastructure, the intellectual apparatus by which knowledge is produced. And given the inferiority complex of a lot of Indians, unless you've been published there, it's not considered credible. And if you are certified there and invited there, then you are one up. So the power of the West is exerted to some extent because of their infrastructure, their budget. They have excellent libraries. You can do a lot of research there on our texts sitting there. But also, to a large extent, our own vulnerabilities being some people are sold out as sepoys. Some have not quite sold out, but they have a deep inferiority complex. So the West continues to exert all this stuff. Besides this mechanism, which is controlled there, the categories by which we are studied have been defined by them. So, and we've accepted those categories.
Right.
So for instance, I have a project called Sanskrit Non-Translatables, which is to convince people of certain Sanskrit words which should not be translated into English. And even if I'm an English-speaking person, I should use that particular Sanskrit word as part of my English speech. And in that way, I am Sanskritizing English. And the reason, and that is a kind of a revolt against the colonization by translating and mistranslating Sanskrit words. So since these words have been translated, the original has been taken over by some English substitute. Our own gurus have started using that. Our own scholars have started using those words, English words in substitutes. Our own government, our own constitution is full of that. So the decolonization requires also a change of vocabulary, a change of framework in which we are thinking. So for instance, I'm writing a book on the Rashtra. And one of the things to describe in that, argue is why it's not the same thing as nation. The Western idea of nation has a different origin, different meaning from the Hindu idea of Rashtra. So this goes all the way. And we've become so used to the westernization of our way of thinking that the West therefore indirectly continues to colonize us intellectually. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get notified. To donate, please click this button.